Let's hang out in the shed today and snap some peas and talk about the good old days. I lost my pea pen. Have to do it a different way. Hang out and have a chat. So what is y'all doing today? I hear my husband on the tractor trying to clean up the weeds out there so it ain't so snaky. I ain't snapped peas in a while, y'all can tell. I had a crazy urge to stop by the farmer's market today. Don't know when this will post, but for me it's a Saturday. It's a little cloudy, rainy, dreary outside today where I are. So I got me some new potatoes. And I'm gonna put these snap beans in there and act like grandma. My grandma probably would have done had this bag of peas snapped. He's rattling the whole shed. He's on the honeydews. So I wonder what's going on in y'all's world, where y'all are. What's y'all's day like? How's the weather? We was on the front porch. We could make some lemonade or some sweet tea. Sit in the rocking chair like they used to do. Like the old Judd songs. Tell me about the good old days. Paint me a picture. Bet y'all didn't know I could sing. You know, I like that old song. Grandpa, take me back to yesterday. Woo! Y'all know the stories from your grandmas and your grandpas about them good old days? Oh, I could tell you some stories. Oh, this generation, these young folks these days wouldn't even believe some of the things that my great-grandmama told me about. Even my grandma. About having to use the leaves and the corn cobs and the outhouses. Y'all know the song. Daddies really never go away. The stories that our grandparents used to tell. I wonder what kind of stories we tell. I don't have any grandchildren, but meaning my generation. I wonder what kind of stories those that are coming up now, what kind of lives will they have? What kind of legacies? What kind of memories? What kind of stories will they have? I'm sure every couple of generations, well, really every generation, they see their share of changes in the world. Lord, my childhood days, we could go to sleep at night and not even have to lock the doors. In fact, we didn't always lock the doors. You'd sleep with the windows up. The attic fan was your air conditioner. And kids could walk the streets and go several blocks over and play at the neighbors and not have to be concerned about some crazy person driving up and kidnapping them. And it was a different time, wasn't it? You look around at the world today and you wonder, how the things have changed. Used to get mama's old pie tin plates and go outside and make mud pies. Oh Lord. You get an old cardboard box that would be just big enough for a little kid to get in, and you'd turn it into your playhouse. You hardly even see the things that you used to see anymore. Like used to, whenever I would ride down the dirt roads, you would find all kinds of wild berry bushes, plum trees. You could pick snacks up and down the dirt road. Nowadays, those native plants, they don't even grow anymore. You gotta wonder, what in the world are they putting in the air and in the ground that the native species of plants won't even thrive anymore? And you used to grow your own food in your own backyard. You'd have your own little chicken pen. I remember going with my great grandmama to get the eggs out of the chicken pen. And I remember running through the rows of the cornfield as a little girl. You get out in the middle of that cornfield, and then the wind would start blowing, and you would hear the breeze coming through the rows, and it would just, it was just a different time. The winds, they were a different wind. And you would play in the rain and not get sick. Run barefoot. You know, today they call that get out and get grounded. Take your shoes off, walk on the grass, sit on the grass, and just rub your hands on the grass. Get grounded. Because there was something about soaking up from the ground, just kind of helped keep you healthy. Run around and catch fireflies and play with toad frogs, lizards, pick wildflowers. Telephones were on a cord, and they were usually nailed to the wall. And there was probably only one or two in the whole house. We'd go to town once a week, not several times a day. Oh, Lord. Things were just different. We call it progress, but I just don't know. Yeah, these are different days. A little music box from my mama, a little treasure. Come in here sometimes and wind it up just so I can hear it play. Think about my mama in the good old days. Thank the Lord for the memories. Brings a little tear to your eyes. Mama would sit outside on the porch swing. Hers was in the yard. And she'd swing and she'd sing. Woo! She would swing and she would pray. She'd talk to the Lord. You could see her kneeling down by her bedside. She was always in the kitchen cooking, or at the dryer or the washing machine, or until we got big enough. And then we would run the vacuum cleaner and I can remember pulling up a chair like this to the sink in a little bitty house. We was piled up in that little bitty house. That was home, because that's where all the family was. Stand in a chair and wash dishes as a little bitty girl. I just didn't know them was the days. Nowadays, we look back and call them the good old days. One day, hopefully our kids will have kids and they'll look back and call some of these days the good old days. But I wonder what they'll say about the days. What will their memories of family and togetherness be? Because you don't hardly find that anymore. Everybody's scattered. Times change. Seasons change. People change. The world changes. But God, He never changes. He remains the same. Ooh. Thank the Lord. He changes not. Everybody would load up and get ready and go to church. And when we come in the door, we come in expecting a move of God. And people would come to church and they would leave changed. Yep. They wouldn't come in and go out the same way. We would have church sometimes before church even started. The Lord would get started ahead of service. Yeah. People would come in sick, but they would leave healed. And I'm not talking about just saying they was healed and expecting it to happen eventually. They would leave healed. Done. Come in lost. When they'd leave, they'd be brand new people. Yeah. People come to church because they were drawn to the Lord, to the Spirit, because they were hungry and they needed that mighty move. And that change. They needed that healing. They needed that newness. They needed that forgiveness. They needed the Lord. They needed to be in right relationship with the Creator. And they would come knowing that they were going to get help from the Lord. And we'd gather around and sing, and the preacher would preach, and we'd gather around and pray, and the Spirit was so thick and so peaceful. Whoa, whoa, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. I remember my grandpa always growing his little garden. He loved it. Oh, he enjoyed his time in the garden. And he'd go fishing, and he'd come back with some fish too. Yep. You go to Grandma's house, and there'd be a chicken stewing or some neck bone and rice or something. And then Great Granny's Spivey's, I remember her macaroni and cheese. It wasn't none of that stuff out of the box, no squeezed cheese. You got the block of cheese and cheese grater, and you was grating that cheese. Was real macaroni and cheese. Boy, the kids is gonna be missing out on a whole world of richness that they're not going to know anything about if we don't share it with them. I'm so glad for the memories of the days gone by. Sometimes it brings a little tear to my eyes. They'd say we was poor. I'd say we was rich. We just didn't know it. You'd get one pair of shoes, maybe 2 pair a year. Couple of changes of clothes. Today, ooh, these kids are spoiled. You wonder why there's so much meanness in the world. So much jealousy and envy and strife and I wonder if people these days know what it's like to have a true friend. Somebody that is not just their friend so they can try to schmooze with them and see if they can outdo them in life, but somebody who is praying that you succeed and win in life, and that would even help you to become better off than you are. Do we have friends like that anymore? Or is everybody only in it to get what they can get out of it? Because I see a lot of that these days. Thank the Lord. He is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Mm-hmm. And through all the changes and different seasons in life, He sees and hears and knows and is aware of everything. And He knows where we are. He knows every heartache, every pain, every ounce of whatever it is that we're feeling. And He is a God of His word. So whatever we're facing and feeling, He's got a word for it. Today, if you talk about having faith, people label you some crazy thing. But without faith, it's impossible to please the Lord. And if you get certain places or things in life, you have to pray and believe God to open those doors and to get you there and to get whatever you need to you. And it takes faith. Who in the world would go to their parent and think, they don't love me? They're not going to even hear me when I tell them what I need, and they sure ain't going to give it to me. But I'm just going to go talk to them about it anyway. No, we don't go to God like that. And He's our Father, our Abba. He is the source from where all blessings and resources come from. He's the giver of life. He gave us life. If He gives us life, surely He's able to sustain us in life. And surely He loves us. If He gave His only Son to die for us, to save and redeem us, and to heal and to restore us, surely He wants us to be blessed, to be healthy, to be whole, to be prosperous in life, and to really trust and rely on Him and look to Him, for He's the author and finisher of our faith. And He gives the measure of faith. So you saying that to have faith is just wrong in life is kind of weird to me. That makes you the crazy person if you're a faith person. That makes y'all the crazy person, not me. And so I finished snacking my little beans. I'm going to wash them and put them in the pot. Then wash my potatoes and add them to it. And have a meal like Mama used to make. And Grandmama. Da 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 dee dee dee. And think about the good old days.